Karen, just to be clear, you didn't do it.
We know who did it, Steve. We know. And we know who spearheaded this cover-up. You all know.
Yes, we do.
If John was beaten up and attacked in that house, who did it?
We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. And it's not for us to know. Somebody other than Karen is responsible for that, for the killing of John.
You are listening to the Roberta Glass True Crime Report, putting the true back in true crime. From New York City, Roberta Glass is now on the record.
Okay, how is everybody? How you're all holding in? Hello, Wesley loves Octoberfest. Hello, Monica Kneeling. Hello, Dark Side. Truth and Justice, Texas Brat, Francoise. Hello, everyone. Wanted to talk with you all today. Do an autopsy on Karen Reed trial, the testimony of the Cameranos. Are they telling everything they know? Did Karen Reed say more to them? We know that Michael Camerano was the first person that Karen Reed called that morning after she ran over John O'Keefe in her 6,000-pound SUV with her foot 74% down, 74.5% down on the gas pedal at 24 miles an hour, of up to speeds of 24 miles an hour, leaving him to die alone in a blizzard. Then she drove in her car to his house, not her house, to John O'Keefe's house. And thought up ways to evade responsibility for mortally injuring John O'Keefe. But the first person she really wanted to talk to that morning was Michael Camerano, calling him many times and then eventually talking to Katherine Camarano. And they seem to be saying the minimum in their testimony. That's my take of it. Let me know what your take of it is. So this was brought to my attention by Innocence Fraud Watch, her blog. Let's check it out. So it is called, and the link is always in the description of this episode. Did cop killer Karen Reed really tell John O'Keefe's niece to call Michael Camerano to pick her up at around 5:04 a.m., including questions for witnesses Michael and Katherine Camarano? So these are some timeline excerpts. So at 4:30 approximately, Karen Reed went into John O'Keefe's niece's bedroom and shook her, then left. And this is a quote from her testimony. This is John O'Keefe's niece said, quote, "Well, at first she just said my name and kind of shook me. And then I kind of opened my eyes and she wasn't in the room." What a way to wake someone up, right? At some point, Karen Reed had retrieved John O'Keefe's niece's phone from John's bedroom and instructed her to call her uncle's iPhone. The niece apparently texted John O'Keefe's iPhone, but the time of this message or messages is not in the public domain. So we know that John O'Keefe and his niece had such a trusting relationship that even when he wasn't there, she would obey his rules and put her phone in his bedroom to charge for the night. And we know that John O'Keefe texted his niece from the bar that night. But what he said to her, was it, I'll be home later, good night? We don't know. It's just not in the public domain. But we know that their relationship was so tight that she, as soon as she was going to bed, she wasn't like, well, I'll wait till I hear the car drive up and then I'll run to his bedroom and put my phone in. As soon as she was going to bed, she went to his bedroom and respected his rules and handed over his phone even when he wasn't there. So at 4:44:40, John O'Keefe's niece called her uncle's iPhone. At 4:46:41, just over 5 hours after Michael Camerano had picked up his daughter from John O'Keefe's house, Karen Reed called Michael. Michael Camerano was sleeping and did not hear his phone ringing. Michael Camerano had been in C.F. McCarthy's pub with John O'Keefe the previous evening, but had to leave after receiving a call informing him his son had been hit in the face with a hockey stick. But before leaving McCarthy's, Michael Camerano testified that Karen Reed or John O'Keefe had said they were heading either across the street or to the Hillside Pub on Royal Avenue. Prosecutor Adam Lally said, let me see if I can scoot down to this so you guys can, I hope see that clip, and then we'll scoot back up. So here's Michael Camerano testifying about his son's hockey incident.
So Mr. Camerano, you indicated that your son was at Luce Elementary School for a play of some sort. Is that correct?
He was for a little bit.
And from there, where, if anywhere else, did he go then?
He went to a friend's house to skate in his backyard.
Skate as far as just skating, or what, if anything else was?
He was skating. A little party.
Well, let me ask you this. Was he a hockey player?
Yes, he's a hockey player.
Okay, so when you say skate,
skating, yes. Makeshift hockey rink in somebody's backyard.
And at some point with relation to that, what, if anything, sort of caused you to leave C.F. McCarthy's on that night?
I received a phone call that my son was hit in the face with a hockey stick and he lost his tooth.
And so upon receiving that call, where did you go?
I went to go get him.
And do you recall about what time that was that you left C.F. McCarthy's to go get him?
I don't recall.
There's one simple vision hack anyone can use to improve vision.
Okay, so there he is talking about that. And I'm hoping he'll talk about missing the phone. Let's listen to this clip.
From the time that you were at C.F. McCarthy's, you obviously, at some point, you didn't do an Irish goodbye?
No.
So at some point you indicated to Mr. O'Keefe and or Miss Reed that you were leaving to go pick up your son.
Yes.
So he's saying you didn't do an Irish goodbye. I'm sorry, the volume is really low on this clip. He said you didn't do an Irish goodbye at some point. You just left to go pick up your son who lost his tooth. My brother lost his tooth. This is really traumatic for a kid. Awful experience.
What indication did they give you as far as where they were going, or what were their intentions?
Where were they going, or what were their intentions?
They were heading either across the street or to the hillside.
And when you say across the street, what, if anything, was across the street?
There's another bar room.
Is that the waterfall?
Waterfall, yes.
Are you familiar with that establishment as well?
Yes.
And where is that in relation to C.F.
Across the street to the left. If you were coming out of C.F. McCarthy's.
Walking distance, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so
welcome to the Fire of Liberty show. We bring you moms
just give me a
and dads
second.
from the front.
There we go.
The next day. About what time is it that you wake up on the 29th?
5:36 a.m.
So what time did you wake up?
What was it that woke you up?
Phones ringing.
And how many phones do you have?
2.
And essentially one personal, one work. Is that correct?
Correct.
Were both phones ringing or one of them?
One phone at that time.
Was that your work or your personal?
My personal phone.
And get up, you hear that, you look at your phone. What, if anything, do you see on the screen?
I see a lot of missed calls, a bunch of missed calls from Karen, and missed calls from my wife's work.
And when you say missed calls, are we talking about one call, several calls?
Several calls.
Any voicemails that you recall associated with those calls?
I don't recall.
And so based on sort of making that observation of the missed calls, what do you do with that?
I pick up the phone and call my wife.
And what, if anything, did you learn from your wife about that?
My wife said to me that John.
Okay, sustained.
John, may we approach?
Okay.
Oh, it's another one of their famous sidebars. One of their famous sidebars. Let's see if we can move through this.
Had been in an accident.
So anyway, so that'll give you an idea. They're not going to let him do any hearsay testimony. So let me go back. So we're right at Katherine. Okay. Well, because Michael Camerano was not answering calls, Karen Reed called Michael's wife, Katherine Camarano. And this call lasted about 2 minutes and 51 seconds. But Katherine Camarano could seemingly only recall Karen Reed's repeatedly shouting, "Where's Mike? Where's Mike?" So you're telling me in a call that lasted 2 minutes and 51 seconds, the only thing she remembers is "Where's Mike? Where's Mike?" I mean, it seems highly significant what she would have told Katherine Camarano in that call. Katherine Camarano said she could hear John O'Keefe's niece in the background of this call, although she did not say what it was she heard John's niece say. Katherine Camarano testified that she told Karen Reed to hold on, calm down, and that she was rechecking the alarm at her house and that she had said to Karen, referring to her husband, Michael, he's home with the kids. Let me call him. And at some point I hung up. I called my husband. Like, I don't know, probably it felt like 100 times. At 4:53, John O'Keefe's niece called Jennifer McCabe on Karen Reed's instructions and put a call on speakerphone. And it's not known how long that call lasted, but Jennifer McCabe called John O'Keefe's niece's phone back at 4:56. This call was again put on speakerphone. At 4:56:39, Katherine Camarano called Karen Reed back, and she could hear Jennifer McCabe's voice, which she recognized as one of her daughter's basketball coaches. Katherine Camarano testified, I don't really recall exactly. I feel like it was just a lot of like screaming, like he's not home. I don't really recall 100%. So this call, now it's just a lot of screaming. But you wouldn't remember anything that Karen Reed screamed to you on the phone that morning. 2 minutes and 57 in that 2 minute and 57 second call. And at 4:59:36, the call ended. At 5 o'clock and 10 seconds, Karen Reed called Carrie Roberts back and shouted either "John's dead, Carrie, or Carrie, John's dead." At 5 o'clock and 38 seconds, Karen Reed seemingly ended her call to Carrie Roberts because Katherine Camarano was calling her back. And then Karen Reed call ended at 5 o'clock and it ended at 5:02:52. Katherine Camarano called John O'Keefe's niece at approximately 5:04. Katherine testified, I was just saying to her, is everybody okay? Is she? And she said, they're going to go out looking for him. And I think she said they were going to go out looking for him, or she went out, or she's going to go out. No one knows where he is. Well, someone knew where he was. Karen Reed. Karen Reed knew right where to take people. She was just gaining her audience so they could see her hysteria and join on her ruse to look for him. And then I think I like hung up with her. After speaking with Ms. McCabe, the defendant left the house. Okay, so Karen Reed left the house and told the niece to call Mr. Camerano to come pick her up. All right. So why would Karen Reed tell John O'Keefe's niece to call Michael Camerano at around 5:04 to pick her up when he had not been answering her calls to just minutes earlier? Did Katherine Camarano know by 5:04 that Karen Reed had told John O'Keefe's niece to call her husband Michael to pick her up? And what was the reason Katherine Camarano called her husband Michael, which she said felt like 100 times? Because Katherine knew John's niece would be home alone. Was that the reason? And what were the times of Katherine Camarano's calls to her husband Michael Camarano and vice versa? Was the reason Katherine Camarano was seemingly repeatedly calling her husband because she had told Karen or John O'Keefe's niece that she would tell her husband Michael to pick her up at around 5:04 a.m. During Karen Reed's 2024 trial, when Michael Camarano was asked by prosecutor Adam Lally, so Mr. Camarano, you call your wife, and what, if anything, in general that she tells you? And Michael Camarano replied, she tells me that John O'Keefe didn't come home last night. Oh, actually says she tells me that John didn't come home last night. And Adam Lally then asks, did she indicate to you how she came to find that out? To which Michael Camarano said, she said she received phone calls from Karen. Adam Lally then asks, and based on that, you had a conversation about John's niece and nephew, is that right? Michael Camarano then said, yes, my wife said to me, go get Kaylee. Kaylee is home. I realized that Kaylee is home alone. So I throw some clothes on, go out to the car, clean the car off real quick, get in the car and go. However, Katherine Camarano testified that it was she who called her husband, stating, then I called my husband and told him that Kaylee was home alone and that he should go get her because she was at the house alone. So who called who? Good question. Who called who? Did Michael Camarano call his wife, or did Katherine Camarano call Michael? I picked up the phone and called my wife. Did Katherine, or was there more than one call between the pair during this relevant time period? And if Michael Camarano woke up at around 5:30, 6 a.m. because of his phone ringing, why didn't he pick up John O'Keefe's niece sooner? He didn't get there till after 7. Was it Karen Reed who told Michael Camarano she and John O'Keefe were going to go either across the street or to the hillside after C.F. McCarthy's pub? And if it was Karen Reed who told Michael Camarano that they intended on going onto the hillside, had Karen Reed received any messages that evening from Carrie Curran? That's where Carrie Curran was, or her husband Christopher Curran. And were they in the hillside on the evening of January 28th? Or was it John O'Keefe who had indicated to Michael Camarano that he and Karen Reed were planning to go either across the street or to the hillside? And why would John be planning on going to the hillside when he had made loose arrangements to meet friends at the waterfall? Again, Katherine Camarano said, I talked to Carrie Roberts in the morning. At some point, I don't know if I called her or she called me. And she said that I think that he was going to the hospital. And then I called my husband and told him that Kaylee was home alone and that he should go get her because she was at the house alone. Katherine Camarano must have spoken to Carrie Roberts at some time after around 6:27, which is when ambulance 1 left Karen Reed's crime scene. Therefore, did Michael Camerano wake up nearer to around 6:30 to 6:45 as opposed to 5:30, 6 a.m.? Since testifying, have Katherine Camarano or Michael Camerano recalled any other significant events or statements from January 28th or 29th, similar to what Michael did when he testified on day 3 of April 24th, 2025, of Karen Reed's retrial with regards to Richie the Mansfield's plumber tale? And since testifying in 2024 and 2025, have the Camarinos obtained copies of their call data, familiarize themselves with the timings of various events, and if not, why not? And since testifying in 2024, has Michael Camerano figured out what, if anything, was wrong with John O'Keefe's garage door on January 29th, 2022? And did John O'Keefe and Karen Reed have garage door openers in their vehicles? So here's at 5:05:14, Jennifer McCabe called Karen Reed. This call lasted 43 seconds. And that was right as Karen Reed was giving her love tap to John O'Keefe's car. So she's reversing out of the garage at that time. And it would be, we've never heard any testimony from she was also talking to Carrie Roberts. I'm sorry. So this is when she called Jennifer McCabe, but right around this time, she was talking to Carrie Roberts. And we've never heard anything from Carrie Roberts like, oh, I just love tapped. I just ran into John O'Keefe's car pulling out of the driveway in a completely unnatural and unnecessary way. Because, the way that driveway goes, you can just go straight back. You don't have to reverse your wheel into John O'Keefe's car to get out of the driveway. At 6:40 a.m., Carrie Roberts called Katherine Camarano or vice versa. 6:45, Katherine Camarano called her husband Michael Camerano or vice versa. And finally, at 7:05:16, Michael Camerano arrives at John O'Keefe's house to pick up John O'Keefe's niece. So we can listen to Katherine Camarano's testimony here.
I'm going to turn your attention now to the morning of the 29th. At some point,
I'm going to turn your attention to the 28th and 29th at some point.
While you were at work, did you receive a call from someone?
Yeah.
While you were at work, did you receive a call from someone?
Yes.
And who, if anyone, called?
Karen.
And about what time was it?
Probably between 4 and 5.
And what, if anything, did the defendant say to you when she called you around 4 or 5?
She was just screaming, "Where's Mike? Where's Mike?"
And was that a typical sort of situation that you would get a call from the defendant at that time?
No, not at all.
And the screaming that you heard, or the phraseology of "Where's Mike," is that something she said once or more than once or something?
She just kept saying it. She just kept saying, "Where's Mike?"
And what, if anything, did you say in response to that?
I was just like, hold on, calm down. And as I was doing it, I was rechecking like the alarm. I said, he's home with the kids. Let me call him. And at some point I hung up. I called my husband, like, I don't know, probably it felt like 100 times.
Now, You're at work when you get this call, is that right?
hmm
Do you recall sort of where you were, what you were doing when you got the call?
I was getting ready to draw like morning labs, so I knew it was between like 4 and 5 a.m. Somewhere
As far
early
as
morning.
this sort of screaming, as far as where's Mike, what if anything did the defendant indicate as to why she was asking?
John didn't come home.
And from your knowledge of John O'Keefe, was that something that was normal or no?
No, no.
Now, during this sort of initial call with the defendant, what, if anything, did you hear sort of in the background of that call?
That first call? I don't think I heard anything in that.
Your memory exhausted as to that?
Yeah, I don't remember it.
May I approach you with this?
Yes.
And ma'am, what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a document for you.
Mhm.
I'm going to direct your attention to this second paragraph on the page. If you could just read that to yourself.
Okay. Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't know if that was the.
Anything further, may I approach
Yep.
this with you, John?
Yes. Oh, yeah, sorry.
So Ms. Camerano, after reading what I just placed before you, is your memory refreshed as to what, if anything, you heard in the background? Of that
Yeah.
initial call?
I could hear Kaylee in the background.
And you hang up on that call, and then what did you do?
Call Michael. And
At any point when you're calling Michael, I think you said you felt like it was about 100 times. Did your husband Michael answer the phone?
he never answered. No.
And so after you called your husband many times, he didn't answer. What did you do?
I called either Karen's phone or Kaylee's phone back. I texted John, I think, twice. And then I could, whoever's phone I called, I could hear Jen in the background, that someone had called Jen too.
So you were speaking on the phone with either the defendant or Kaylee, correct?
Yep,
And you could hear someone named Jen in the background.
yep, I could hear her in the background.
And when you say you could hear someone,
Like it sounded, sorry,
no. So just as far as Jen, who is that?
Jen McCabe. She was one of Madeline's basketball coaches, so I know her voice.
Heard her sort of voice on the sideline.
Yeah, yep.
Did you know her personally at all?
I knew her as Madeline's coach.
And at some point you were talking to Kaylee on the phone, correct?
Yes.
And what is it that you were saying to Kaylee at that time?
I was just saying to her, is everybody okay? And she said they're gonna go out looking for him. I think she said they were gonna go out looking, or she went out, she's gonna go out. No one knows where he is. And then I think I like hung up with her. And then at some point I maybe texted Kaylee or called, and I said, is Karen out alone? And she said, no, she's with Jen and Carrie. So I said, okay, as long as they're not alone.
Now, the second phone call, you're talking to Kaylee and you can hear the defendant talking to Ms. McCabe, is that correct?
Yes.
And you hear one side of the conversation or both sides of the conversation?
I don't really recall exactly. I felt like it was just like a lot of like screaming, like he's not home. I don't really recall 100%.
I think she does recall some of what that phone call was, and she seems very reluctant to say anything negative that might get Karen Reed convicted of murder. That's my take on it.
But as far as the screaming that you heard that he's not home, do you recall whose voice that was that you heard saying that?
It was Karen.
And beyond that, as far as the conversation that you overheard, what, if anything, specific about that conversation in addition to that you recall?
I don't.
And while these phone calls are going on, again, you're at work, correct?
Correct.
So
Thank you. Wesley loves Octoberfest for being a member for 9 months. I appreciate it. These memberships are a great way to support the channel. Also get access to things early. I put up a whole bunch of shorts early for members. How's everybody doing? Hey, Dean Walker. Everybody hanging in there? Do you think, how do you just remember a bunch of screaming in an almost 3-minute call? I just don't get it.
what is it that you're doing sort of in relation to your job while these phone calls are going back?
I'm trying to in between draw labs for my patients, and then I'm going in the back room, texting or calling, and then I'd go back out to the desk, out to the patients.
You mentioned that the defendant was sort of screaming when she was talking to you on the phone and you heard her in the background when you were talking to Kaylee.
Yep.
Could you describe sort of, or how would you describe sort of her, and by her I mean the defendant's demeanor while you heard her on the phone?
She was just frantically screaming. Just screaming. Where's Mike?
Now, during this time, you're working, you're dealing with patients, and you're going back.
Yeah.
Again, just a very nondescript screaming. We know that Karen Reed was acting hysterical, and she needed an audience, of course, to act hysterical in front of. But I can't believe that she doesn't remember. Do you think maybe Karen Reed might have been, did I hit him? I hit him? Some variation of that? And Katherine Camarano doesn't want to repeat it? Or maybe he was hit by a plow or something else? I don't know. What do you guys think?
Mm-hmm.
And in addition to speaking on the phone with the defendant and then Kaylee, who, if anyone else, did you reach out to or did you talk to that point?
I talked to Carrie Roberts in the morning at some point. I don't know if I called her, she called me, and she said that I think that he was going to the hospital, and then I called my husband and told him that Kaylee was home alone and that he should go get her because she was at the house alone.
Is it your understanding that your husband Michael then went to Meadows to pick up Kaylee?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sorry.
Now, you mentioned that at some point you spoke to Carrie Roberts, is that correct?
Yes.
How do you know Carrie Roberts?
I've known her since high school.
And as far as you grew up in the same town, is that correct?
No, I was friends with her cousin, so I had known her. And I've always known her. I've been friends with her for a while.
Okay, so that is some of Katherine Camarano's odd.
There's one simple vision hack anyone can use to improve vision.
Odd testimony. Here's a little bit more of it.
Speaking on the phone with the defendant and then with Kaylee, who, if anyone else, did you reach out to or did you talk to that point?
I talked to Carrie Roberts in the morning at some point. I don't know if I called her, she called me, And she said that I think that he was going to the hospital, and then I called my husband and told him that Kaylee was home alone and that he should go get her because she was at the house alone.
Is it your understanding that your husband Michael then went to Meadows to pick up Kaylee?
Mm-hmm.
Is that yes, ma'am?
Yes, sorry.
America is back, thanks to President.
Okay. And here's Michael Camerano's testimony.
With regard to that Friday night, January 28th, sir, the plan was for you and John to go to McCarthy's to have some drinks because there was a storm coming in, correct? And because of the celebration of the girls getting into Bishop Fen?
Well, yeah, we were going out. It wasn't a continuation of the celebration of the girls. We were going out to have a few beers as guys.
Okay. And when you were leaving the house, John asked you to move your car, right?
Correct.
Where was your car when John asked you to move it that night?
Actually, I have Michael Camerano's. Let's look at his full testimony, shall we? Shall we take a better look at his full testimony in this? Yeah, I mean, it just seems more likely to me, at least. Hold on 1 second. That he originally got these calls later, closer to 6:30, and probably got over there by 7.
Did you spend time with?
Okay, hold on.
You solemnly swear the evidence is recorded during the case now returns to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Good morning.
So did you guys hear the news that Judge Cannoni is no longer going to preside over criminal trials, and she's going to the civil division? So nightmare of all nightmares, Judge Cannoni could be the judge for the civil trial, meaning the O'Keefe family suing Karen Reed for wrongful death. Judge Cannoni could be presiding over it.
May I?
Please.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Could you please introduce yourself to the jury?
Hi, good morning. My name is Michael Camerano.
Mr. Camerano, can I ask how old you are? I'm sorry.
Spell your last name.
Camerano.
And so if you could either move the microphone down a little bit or speak up, or maybe a combination of both, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Could I ask you how old you are?
48.
Where do you live?
Canton, Mass.
How long have you lived in Canton for?
Me and my wife have lived there for 20 years. We have 2 children.
How old are your children, sir?
My daughter is 17. My son is 14.
Did you know John O'Keefe?
Yes.
How did you know him?
I met John for the first time at his sister's they had a benefit for his sister in 2013. I met John there for the first time. Then years later, our kids got involved with sports together, and they became very close. As they became close, I became very close with John and his family.
Was your daughter close with John's niece?
Yes.
Was your son close with?
Yes.
Did you spend a lot of time together through sports and socially?
Yes, we did.
I want to take you forward to January 28th of 2022.
Okay.
Do you remember that day?
Yes.
Had you, without any discussion of what might have been said, did you have any discussions with John that day?
Yes.
Did you have a plan?
Yes, we were communicating.
At some point, did you decide that you were going to spend some time or go meet John?
Yes. That Friday, my daughter and his daughter, they got acceptance letters to school. So we wanted to get them together so they could enjoy the time together. And, just, go over like how it'll be so much fun, something new, different. Yeah, so we were going to meet up after.
Well, I mean, something new and different. I mean, you're really proud of your daughter for getting into school. Like, so one of these milestone moments. And I'm sure John O'Keefe was really proud of his niece. Unfortunately, Karen Reed ended his life and ended that relationship and re-victimized a child who had already been traumatized by the death of her mother to cancer, or death of her father 3 months later to a heart failure, heart attack. I mean, why Karen Reed did not go to her own house in Mansfield that night? Why was the first person that she woke up was Kaylee? And I still don't understand why someone didn't stay with Kaylee. Why did they both, why didn't Carrie Roberts or Jen McCabe stay with Kaylee when they were already in the home and one of them go out with Karen to look for John? You have a child who's been traumatized by sudden, 1 minute your mother is well, the next minute she's undergoing chemo, and the next minute she's dead. You have one day your dad is walking around, the next minute he's dead of a heart attack. 1 minute your fun uncle, your only your main caretaker is walking around texting you that he'll be back, and you're putting away your phone, and the next minute you have a woman who's totally been not invited into the home, is there by her own volition, waking you up, shaking you awake, and re-traumatizing you. I mean, she did it in the worst way possible. Could not have been worse. When Karen Reed knew all along that something terrible, that she had run him over, and that he was either dead or hanging on to life. I don't know. I think she knew at that point he was dead. In the first trial, with the testimony of Carrie Roberts and Jen McCabe, we weren't sure if John O'Keefe was clinging to life when they found him or if he had passed. But in the second trial, Hank Brennan made it very clear that he was gone. He was dead, and that Carrie Roberts was trying to give CPR to a corpse. And Karen Reed was pretending to give CPR to him, and she never cleared his airway. She was like, I don't know. I never knew if I was doing it right. She knew he was beyond help. She knew it was just for show at that point. I mean, everything she did that morning was for show. With getting Carrie Roberts, getting Jen McCabe, returning them to the scene. Everything was for her, to show everybody she was upset. And nothing was about getting John help. Because if she wanted to get John help, she would have called 911 and said, I left my boyfriend after I hit him, reversed into him in the snow here. Go find him. Or after she reversed into him, she could have called Jen McCabe or someone else. Go out. I just hit John. But it was it's always, this is the theme with Karen Reed, looking out for number one. How are these people going to help me? So it was helpful for her to mix it all up, include other characters and personalities. And we all have personalities with faults. And she knew she had profiled these people. So originally she really wanted Katherine Camarano because I think she knew Katherine Camarano was the kind of person who would have clammed up about the most damning evidence against her and been too timid or self-preserving or whatever else to ever really expose Karen Reed for the psychopathic murderer that she is. She wanted the Cameranos, and you can see in their evidence, even when he talks about Richie the plumber, meaning Karen Reed's last hour and 10 minutes of communication with John O'Keefe on text message that night was all about this plumber that she had over fixing her hot water issue. She couldn't come out to the bar because she was late, because Richie was late and he was fixing her rusty pipe issue. Richie even showed her a piece of the pipe. And when this hot water issue was ever fixed, we don't know. Because during the time she said she went to her parents' house and cried on their sofa for 3 days, when we knew she was really out retracing her steps with her private investigator who's going to help her evade responsibility for her murder of John O'Keefe. So we don't know when, if ever, this hot water issue was resolved, or if it was a lie she made up to goad John into anger. And we don't know if any text messages were ever found on her phone between her and this plumber.
I got out of work.
Speaking of the plumber, I mean, this really tells the entire story of the plumber.
Everyone is waiting for me to arrive at the bar. At home in Mansfield, I'm making up a new co-star. His name is Richie the plumber. No hot water, it's a bummer. It's all a figment of my imagination. Call it a lie, I feign rightful indignation. Call the plumber, I got a rusty pipe. Hot water is not working, I'm starting a fight. Sure it's a lie, but it's a little one. Gotta get my boyfriend under my thumb. John says he and his papa would have fixed it. If only this broken pipe in real life existed. Causing pain and suffering is what I do best. Putting my boyfriend's patience through test after test. Richie, my imaginary plumber, is at Home Depot, hoping that story will get a rise out of my boyfriend and his libido. I'll arrive at the bar showing up late, make him angry right out of the gate. He's slow at feeling lovey-dovey, I'm downright twisted and scummy. I'll down many drinks and run him over after it gets late. Scream and cry, it's you, John, who I hate. Leave him to die in a blizzard, inflicting pain, I'm a wizard. Get Jen to call 911, have the whole town pointing fingers when it's over and done.
Okay, there's the story of the plumber, Richie the plumber. Will we ever learn in the civil trial? Will Richie be deposed? Will Richie be investigated? Was Richie a real plumber who had put on Karen Reed's toilet seats crooked before? That's what she said about him. Or is Richie an entire figment of her imagination? Does he really exist? Did he ever do plumbing issues? Did he do plumbing issues? Did he fix her hot water that night? But it certainly, if he wasn't fixing her hot water that night, it certainly paints Karen Reed as a pathological liar. Dean Walker, thank you so much. Really appreciate your support, especially on these smaller shows.
Is your daughter planning to go to a new school?
Yes.
Where?
Bishop Fan.
And how about his niece?
Same.
They both got accepted to
They
the same
both got
school?
accepted to the same school.
Was it a celebratory move?
Yes.
Did you have a plan to bring the children together so they could celebrate?
Yes, we did.
And then separately, you were going to meet John and celebrate?
Correct.
Where did you drop your daughter off?
I dropped my daughter off at John. I went into John's. I was at the house with John and the girls, and we had a little celebration. Talked about how nice it's going to be, fun, change, different, meet new people.
And you celebrated at John's house before you went out?
Correct.
After the celebration with your children, did you and John leave?
Yes.
During that celebration, was there anybody?
Right, but domestic violence never came into this case, which I always thought was a mistake. You know, Karen Reed's father is out there giving interviews, going with the old innocence fraud line. Karen Reed could be us all. When in fact, you're more likely to be in a DV relationship and be murdered by your partner, especially if you're a woman, than be falsely accused of a crime, LOL. You know, obviously she wasn't, or falsely prosecuted. There's no evidence that she was falsely accused or prosecuted for this crime. I mean, we should all hope we could be Karen Reed. And if we committed a crime, I mean, it's amazing that she has turned it around with the help of the media and the help of YouTubers and a blogger, Aidan Carney, has made herself out to be this psychopathic murderer, has made herself out to be Mother Teresa. I mean, not even Mother Teresa. That's not even a good example. Sorry, Princess Diana. Treated like Princess Diana. The Queen. Who else? I don't know. It is bizarre. I mean, you look at those interviews with Karen Reed during the trial, and the press is just beaming. I think the greatest journalist in this whole case is Carl Dugal. best interview with Karen Reed. How come you admitted it? Like 3 or 4 times you did. The only one to ever ask a second question. John O'Keefe's friend, Carl Dugal, best journalist. I give him Journalist of the Year award in this case. When he came face to face with Karen Reed, he didn't flinch. And you saw the way Karen Reed turned it around when he said, we know who did it. We know who did it. Remember? He said, you didn't do it, Karen. Right? That's a journalist. And when she met up with him again, you're the first person who brought up cover-up. You asked if it was a cover-up. No, he didn't. He asked if you didn't, and you couldn't deny it. You said, we all know who did it. And then later on, almost 2 years later, a year and a half later, you're saying we don't know who did it. Just kidding, LOL. When we said we all know who did it, we all, including me, I was just kidding. But there was Carl going, well, how come you admitted it? Like 3 or 4 times. And I mean, that's an understatement, 3 or 4 times. This is all my fault. I hit him. Did I hit him? Could I have hit him? Why'd you admit? She asked a question. Yeah, she asked a question in between making full-on admissions. I hit him. Only Carl Dugal asked, why did you say I hit him so many times? Never once did any other journalist say, well, why did you say I hit him so many times? Why would you be saying I hit him? Why did you think you hit him? And they all ask these ridiculous softball questions. Because you know why they don't ask? They don't ask because some of them just want to see a murderer get over on the system because they're dark personalities themselves, or they're innocent fraudsters. Or 2, They don't care that a psychopathic murderer might be on the loose. And they're happy to help her to get the next interview and advance their career.
There other than you, John, and your two daughters?
No. No. Karen was not there.
Was there anybody else there?
No, just the two girls, myself and John.
What was the weather like that night?
It was cold. It was not snowing yet.
Was there an expectation?
Yes, there's an expectation. Yes.
What was that?
That there was going to be a big snowstorm coming in.
A storm was coming?
Yes.
When you left, did you leave in a separate car then, John, or did you leave together?
No, we left together. John got in my car and we were leaving. We were going to leave.
John O'Keefe said in text message to Karen Reed, I'm relying on you for a ride home. So I don't think he would have gotten out of that car not expecting Karen Reed to come with him. I think they were arguing. It was the end of the argument. And he had either broken up with her or they had a fight about Kaylee or Patrick, John O'Keefe's niece and nephew, or the plumber. You take your pick. Or I've had enough. This is the end. Are you coming after this? This is it. I mean, he was saying to her in text messages, I'm just not into fighting all the time. I don't bounce back as quick as you do. Just not into this. And according to Kaylee's testimony, he was saying things to her like, this relationship has run its course. And he had asked her to leave before and she wouldn't leave. So you don't leave me. I'm going to teach you a lesson. And she expressed her anger by putting her foot 74.5% down on the gas pedal and hit him in reverse, going 24 miles an hour, up to 24 hours an hour. I don't know if I've ever gone in reverse that fast in my life. What reason would you have? Because when it's an accident and people say, well, I don't think she meant it. She meant it. She didn't mean to hit him. Why didn't she get out when she felt she struck something? When you hit something with your car, she told her father, I felt I struck something. Went through her whole body. The reverberations of John O'Keefe's body on her 6,000-pound car when she clipped him. She felt she hit something. Why not get out? She clearly said he didn't look mortally wounded after she hit him that night, which I think is an admission in the negative. He looked mortally wounded. She left him to die there, like roadkill, as she says. That's what I think of you. You'll die like a piece of trash on the side of the road. Every action that she did that night, anger can be inferred into it. Anger, hatred, and she wanted to degrade him. She wanted him to die in a degrading way.
Where were the girls?
The girls were in the house, stayed in the house.
They were staying at John's house?
Yes, correct.
Where did you go?
We went to CF McCarthy's.
I mean, I really wonder if Karen Reed ran over a dog the way she ran over John O'Keefe and left a dog to die in this way, if she would have the public support. But since he was a cop, it's okay. The cop hatred in this country is always popular with Americans and our media.
When you got there, did you know anybody who was there other than you and John?
At that time, no.
Did you spend time in CF McCarthy's?
Yes.
Were you drinking?
Yes.
Was John drinking?
Yes.
Alcohol?
Yes.
How long were you there for?
A couple hours.
While you were there, did anybody come and meet you that you knew?
Yes.
Who?
A friend. And then Karen came in.
The friend?
Yes.
What was the friend's name?
Kurt.
And then how long after you first got there was it that the defendant arrived?
I would like to say within an hour or so. Not 100% sure.
You said back home it was a celebratory mood. Was it still a celebratory mood at McCarthy's?
Yes.
When the defendant arrived, did she spend time with you and John?
I've talked briefly to her, and her and John were mostly talking.
Okay. You didn't see any issues?
No.
It was a normal night?
Seemed to be, yes.
As far as you could see?
Yes.
And you saw John drinking?
Yes.
Did you see the defendant drinking?
I saw her with a glass, yes.
Did you leave at the same time?
I'm sorry about my air conditioner. I know it's so loud. I was listening back to an old episode, a live stream I did the other day. It sounds like I'm in a tunnel, a wind tunnel with this air conditioner. I try to keep it off as much as I can. It just gets really hot in here, guys. Anytime you say it was a normal night, you know it was anything but normal. I mean, and this is another problem where, I mean, not only do we have witnesses like this determined to say the least, you know, kind of put their head down, say the least, not get attacked. I mean, you could see the way, I mean, when it comes to the plumber, how he barely gets it out and cross. We'll get to that. But it was helped by this idea that things were going great, or their relationship was good up to a point. I mean, was it good in the love bombing stage? Or was it good in the coercively controlling stage? Or was it good in the devaluing, demeaning stage? I mean, they were putting on a public mask. I mean, Karen Reed was very good at putting on a fake public persona. And John O'Keefe was, you know, not up to airing his dirty laundry, although he did tell Michael Camerano he was angry that Karen Reed didn't ask him and his dad to fix their plumbing issue. Because his dad's a plumber.
And that John left?
No, I did not.
When you left, was John still at the establishment?
Yes.
When you left, was the defendant still with him?
Yes.
Why did you leave?
I left because I got a phone call. My son was playing hockey in the backyard, and he got hit with a stick and lost his tooth.
Oh. Where did you go?
I went to my son's friend's house.
Do you know about what time that was when you went to see your son?
I would like to say 9:30, between 9:30 and 10.
You didn't go back to McCarthy's that night, did you?
No, I did not.
After you helped your son, where did you go next?
I went to pick up my daughter, Maryellen,
Did you go?
at John's house.
Did you go in John's house?
No, I did not.
When you got to John's house, did your daughter come out?
No. We went to the side door and rang the doorbell.
And then what happened?
And then my daughter came to the door.
Where'd you go?
From there, we left and went home.
When you went home, had the weather changed at all?
It was cool. It might have been flurrying at that time.
No accumulation?
No.
You got home?
Yes.
Did you do anything significant when you got home?
Put the kids to bed, my son, and no, I went to bed.
What's the next thing you remember happening?
Waking up to, I missed some phone calls.
Who were the missed phone calls from?
From my wife and Karen.
What did you do?
I called my wife.
After speaking to your wife, what did you do?
I got in my car and drove to John's house.
About what time was this?
In between maybe 5 and 6 a.m.
What was your mood at that point?
I was panicked.
Why did you go to John's house?
Because I went to get Kaylee.
Did you know if she was alone?
Yes.
How long did it take you to get to John's house?
Maybe 5-7 minutes.
When you get to John's house, what do you see?
I pull in the driveway. I see that the garage door is open. I go in through the garage door. I don't know if Kaylee was standing there, if the door, she came out the door, and I asked her, if she needed anything, she could get in my car and stay warm.
When you first saw Kaylee, what did she look like?
She looked distraught.
Did you try to help her?
Well, I think I just said everything will be okay.
Did she come with you?
Yes,
Where are you going?
to my house.
So what happens?
So we go to my house, and my daughter's up, and the two girls they were hanging downstairs, just hanging out, just being kids. And then I don't know, a couple hours later, maybe Paul called me and asked me to bring Kaylee home.
Did you know anything at that point?
I did, yes.
You did or didn't?
At that point, I did when Paul had told me.
So what do you do?
Asked Maryellen and Kaylee if I'd say, Maryellen, we come for the ride. I don't say anything to Kaylee, and we get in the car, and I start heading back to John's house.
And you didn't say anything to Kaylee?
No, I didn't. I just said everything will be all right. She had a feeling.
Right, because she'd been through this trauma before. She knew what death was like. She was ready. She's ready for this is her third real absolute devastating experience, all before you turn 18. Awful.
Why do you say that?
She don't want to go home.
So what happens next?
So I pull in the driveway, and I remember Paul and Papa standing. I think they were standing at the side door, and we just embraced.
Did you stay?
No, not long. No.
Did you go back?
I was to the house. I went back to my house.
Did you go back to John's house?
I did the next day. Yes, I was there.
When you went back, were there people there?
Yes.
Many?
There was people coming and going.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
And Karen Reed would still soon arrive to go retrieve her murder vehicle and her stuff, and get the murder vehicle out of the hands of the cops.
Good morning, Mr. Camerano.
Good morning.
This is quite painful for you to remember the events of January 28th, is it?
Yeah, because your client murdered my friend.
Yes.
You were very close with your friend, John O'Keefe, correct?
I was close with him, yes.
And you actually met Karen Reed.
Yeah, it's been made more painful by lying lawyers like you, starting an innocence fraud campaign and a witness harassment campaign to get your killer client off. Yeah, you've made everything more painful. Schmucko.
Through John, correct?
Correct.
After meeting Karen, you spent a good amount of time with both Karen and John, correct?
Correct.
As of January 28th of 2022, you had known Karen for maybe about a year or so?
Sounds correct.
And you'd see them, especially on Fridays, correct?
Correct.
That would be sort of the day that you get together with both of them often?
Yes.
And of course, your children spent a lot of time with John and Karen, right?
Correct.
You entrusted both Karen and John with your kids.
Yes.
Sometimes your kids would even go on vacation with Karen and John, right?
They did go to the Cape, yes.
Sometimes you'd see Karen without John at your house or on a ball field.
Correct.
And your daughter in particular would sometimes spend time with just Karen without John, correct?
Correct.
Your daughter would sometimes go over to Karen's house in Mansfield when she lived there, correct?
Correct.
And obviously when your daughter would go to Karen's house in Mansfield, Karen would be the one in charge of caring for her, correct?
Correct.
And you were fine with that because you liked and you trusted Karen, right?
Correct.
And in your view, Karen was very good with kids, right?
Correct.
But you also had the opportunity to see Karen and John together, right?
Yes.
You saw how they interacted with each other over that year period that you knew Karen?
Yes.
You saw how they got along?
Yes.
And you never observed any arguments or bickering, correct?
I mean, they argued. and bicket.
You had previously testified that you wouldn't even call it arguing, you just call it banter, right?
Yes, I mean, he would, I mean, no, he would get upset or like over if she bought expensive things for the kid.
I mean, this helps Karen Reed. She was too nice to the kids. But why was he buying her? Why was Karen Reed buying all these expensive gifts?
Yes.
We will
To gain power and control over the kids.
get to that. That would be the one thing that John would.
I mean, you know, Kaylee's testimony was that Karen would drop her off to get her nails done and then pick her up, and that she wouldn't attend her sports games. That was always her dad. I mean, the real heart. It's easy to buy things, but the real day-to-day hard work of raising a kid, Karen Reed was not interested, and she'd run hot and cold. And if you weren't appreciative enough, she would get angry with you. This is all testimony, the public didn't hear because these are minor witnesses. And it wasn't very well reported by mainstream media. There was
complain about Karen buying like very nice things for his niece and nephew, right?
Correct.
Or he'd complain if Karen was taking his niece and other girls.
Right. But, here Michael Camerano is just saying the least to get off the hot seat here.
To get their nails done? Like extravagances like that?
And they're also, and this is another issue, is they're also trying to dispel the idea that Karen Reed was somehow singled out, get the girl. So they all have to kind of say, oh, we liked her. It was a great relationship. And that was another issue that helped Karen Reed in this. So any issues with Karen Reed's personality or things that they saw, they didn't talk about. So that was another well-designed crafted part of Karen Reed's innocence fraud campaign.
And one specific memory you have is when Karen bought his niece a very expensive sweater, right?
Correct.
And you recall John telling you that he wished that she hadn't done that because he considered that to be spoiling the girl, correct?
Yes.
But it was very clear to you from your observations that Karen really, really liked John.
Really, really liked John, not the kids. She said the kids made us toxic. She really, really liked John until she murdered him. She really picked him out as her mark until she murdered him and left him alone to die in a blizzard.
I'm sorry.
Look at these lawyers.
John really liked Karen, right?
Sustained.
He certainly never told you or even suggested he was thinking about or planning to break up with Karen, right?
No.
Okay, so
But he did tell Karen that, and he did ask her to leave. He was telling her things like the relationship had run its course. That's what Kaylee
prior
said.
to that Friday night, January 28th, sir, the plan was for you and John to go to McCarthy's to have some drinks because there was a storm coming in, correct? And because of the celebration of the girls getting into Bishop Fen?
Well, yeah, we were going out. It wasn't a continuation of the celebration of the girls. We were going out to have a few beers as guys.
Okay. And when you were leaving the house, John asked you to move your car, right?
Correct.
Where was your car when John asked you to move it that night?
Actually, I backed up my car. We were leaving the driveway, and John asked me to stop so he could move his car.
I see. And he wanted you to move your car because of the storm coming in, and he wanted Karen to be able to pull her car into the garage, right?
Correct.
And that was really thoughtful of him, wasn't it?
Yes, extremely.
And it showed you that he was being chivalrous toward Karen that night, right?
Yes.
He didn't want Karen to be out in the heavy snow later when she returned to his house during the expected blizzard, right?
Sustained.
You took from that there was an expectation that Karen would be coming back to his house, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
You had no inkling that day that.
Yeah, with him. There was no invitation to run John O'Keefe over and leave him to die in a blizzard and then sneak into his house and make his house, ground zero for how to get away with my murder, Grand commandment, ground zero for Karen Reed's offices on how to get away with her murder. I mean, it's so brazen to just go into his house, don't take off her shoes because I just killed him, so his rules don't apply anymore. And now I'm going to just work from here to make sure that evidence of me coming home with my busted taillights off the Ring camera and whatever else she did in that house. I don't know when she did it. She could have done it on an app. She could have done it. But there is a reason she went to his house and not to her house.
Anything was wrong between Karen and John, correct?
No.
Everything seemed fine between the two of them, right?
Yes, he did mention though that night that he didn't understand why Karen had a plumber go to the house.
Because he had somebody that could have done that work.
He didn't understand. This is like the first thing Michael Camerano told police. He was annoyed, upset, whatever Michael Camerano's interpretation of John's mood. He didn't understand it. He wasn't confused by it. It pissed him off. And here's Michael Camerano just minimizing everything. So not a helpful witness, more of a helpful witness to Karen, ditto Katherine Camarano, and Karen Reed would have profiled these people. Being the psychopath that she is beforehand, and had knowledge of this before she picked them out. They were the first people she called. She wanted to talk to that morning. Katherine Camarano, Michael Camerano, she wanted to talk to both of them. Where's Mike? She knew that they would be helpful to her, that their personalities would be helpful. That's what I have for today, guys. Please hit the thumbs up, support the channel. Links are in the description of this episode. You can buy me a coffee, send me a Venmo, or become a Patreon member and get access to content you won't get anywhere else. Please hit the thumbs up on your way out. Leave me a comment, and I'll be back with more Karen Reed reporting real soon. We're going to stay on this one, guys. So don't go anywhere. I will be back tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern. Have a great night, everyone.
I hit my boyfriend with my car. It wasn't an accident, but with lying lawyers I'll go far. Lying lawyers and witness harassment. I'll avoid prison. It was snowing. I pushed the pedal down, hit him hard. Now the legal system I clown. Innocence fraud campaign to save my skin. Making money, truth is my second victim. Carry, gin, like John, you were my mark. My innocence fraud campaign is my biggest hit. Yeah. I hit my boyfriend with my car. It wasn't an accident, but with lying lawyers I'll go far. Lying lawyers and witness harassment. I'll avoid prison. It was snowing. I pushed the pedal down, hit him hard. Now the legal system I climb.